Hi, and welcome to my channel, Laura's Library Card. So today we are going to make this weekly update snappy and short. I'm going to dive right in and tell you about the week that I just had, the week of December 10th through the 16th. I finished Lover Unbound by J.R. Ward. This is the 5th book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and I finished the last about 65% of it. And I listened to the audiobook. This is the romance between Vicious, and he's a vampire, and a human doctor, trauma surgeon named Jane. It was kind of wild. The plot is wild and interesting, but also a bit out there, even amongst the Black Daggerhood series. There is definitely a lot of insta-love happening in this book. There's a lot of points of view in this book. Honestly, in my opinion, too many points of view in this book. And I felt that the characterizations of both Vicious and Jane kind of suffered a little bit. And Jane was done dirty. I felt like her characterization in the second half in particular really just kind of took a nosedive, and I did not care for the ending, the resolution of how Vicious and Jane ended up together and like her situation. So I don't know, didn't love this one. I think I'm going to wait to dive into the next book in the series in 2024, but I finished that book this week. I also DNF'd this week the audiobook of If You Would Have Told Me by John Stamos. This is his memoir, and I made it to about 44% or so, which is about 155 pages, and I just wasn't really caring about it. I feel like the author does a really good job with the narration. It felt very genuine. It felt easy to read and listen to. I just didn't care over much, which continues my streak of never having finishing a memoir, but a lot of what in the first 44% John Stamos is talking about is his early life, his first forays into acting and modeling and appearances, and he's starting into getting into the Full House discussion. And all of this first 44% has happened before I was born, which I didn't think was going to be a problem, but there are a lot of name drops and mentions of TV shows and characters and people that I just don't know. I don't know those references, and so it's just not fun for me, and I hadn't quite realized that he was that much older. I even looked up Full House information, and by the time that I was experiencing Full House as a young kid, it was already in reruns. So I just wasn't really caring that much about hearing about his life. So I DNF'd it at 44%. I think that's a me thing. I don't think it's a book thing. I think that the book probably is really great. It wasn't really connecting to me, and that's okay. As for what I am currently reading, I am still reading Manacled, made zero progress, still at 67%. I am still waiting for my hold for Butler and Blackbird to come in. I have made 0% progress. I'm still at 41% for that title, but I did start 2 new books this week. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Dawn by Octavia Butler. This is the first book in the Xenogenesis series. This is a science fiction title written before I was born, and I made it through about the first 40 pages, 16%. This is a science fiction title that I am buddy reading with some friends, and we are following our main female character of Lilith, who has woken up on a spaceship in the future, and there are aliens, and the Earth, it's many years in the future. I wouldn't say Earth has been destroyed, but Earth kind of came to this terrible moment, and a lot of people were dying, etc. So this is not 100% new of concept for me, humans meeting aliens, how this human reacts when she meets aliens, but I have read very little of it in the science fiction genre, and this is definitely taking a more hard and stark kind of tone. There are no hot big blue aliens in this series so far. Thus far, but it is kind of intense and overall generally a little unsettling so far. I am intrigued. I do want to see how this is going to pan out. I think it's very interesting and unlike most of what I've ever read in my life, because I haven't read that much science fiction. So I do want to continue, but also there is this underlying disquietedness about it that I don't like that part, but I am willing to kind of see where this is going to go. So that's Dawn. And the last title that I'm going to mention for this book, or for this video, is From Snowball Fights to Hot Summer Nights. This is by Wren K. Morris and is the follow-up to the holiday novella that I read last week. So I am about 50% of the way through this title, and we are following some characters, one character or two characters that we met in that novella. We're following Dancer, Trevor, and Candy Kane, who are male, female. And the three of them, Dancer and Trevor, have been kind of dancing around each other, both interested in the other person but hesitant to make the first moves or to really express their interest in the other person. And then when they both kind of meet Candy Cane and become friends with her, she really pushes the two of them to pursue their interest in each other. There are also sparks flying between all three of them, and this is listed on Goodreads as polyamorous relationship, male, female romance. You know, it's definitely got some holiday Christmassy themes, and yeah, so far it is very fluffy. It is very fun. It is very quick read. It's light. It's cute. I think it's going to start to get pretty steamy. I've only read a little bit of steam so far, but there's plenty of innuendo and tension happening. So I am thoroughly enjoying it. I think that overall, I'm a little disappointed with myself this December. I've only managed to finish 3 titles thus far, here by the 17th of December, which is low for me, and I have DNF'd 2 or more titles so far this month, and I think that is a contributing factor there. But I think that I'm going to take this last week that is leading up to Christmas and try to read some holiday and Christmas themed, wintry themed titles, and maybe some novellas, sprinkle those in there to kind of make myself feel good and enjoy the holiday times that are upon us. But that is my weekly update. Let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these books or have any recommendations for me, especially fun holiday smutty romances. Always looking for fun, reads that you've loved. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.